Men in general judge more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see but few can feel. Respect is not donated, it is engineered. People do not obey your feelings. They obey a structure that makes disobedience expensive and compliance effortless. You do not need to be adored, you need to be legible. Standards that can be seen, clocks that can be heard, consequences that arrive soon, small and certain. When these are visible, the crowd stops reading your face and starts reading the rules. That is where respect lives, where the rule speaks so the ruler does not have to. Power is a process, not a personality. Watch two managers in the same office. The first walks in smiling, wins the room with soft jokes, and lets the meeting breathe until it wanders. Decisions drift. Afterward, he explains why nothing could be decided. He will win the hallway praise and lose the quarter. The second manager enters quietly. The agenda is posted, 3 items only, evidence first, commentary last. A visible timer sits on the table. At the 40-minute mark, she closes votes per pre-agreed criteria, lawful path cost within cap, owners named, no grand speech, no charm offensive. The room may be like the first, but it orientates around the second. The system beats charisma because the system survives the mood. Fear remembers, praise forgets. Speeches dissolve, schedules teach. You install small, near penalties that touch the behavior you want to change. Overrun your slot. Your item rolls to the next cycle. Miss the document freeze. Your proposal waits a sprint. Leak draft materials. Your access downgrades for 30 days, not cruelty. Calibration. People recoil from distant theatrical punishments and repeat the breach. They adapt to near automatic ones and learn. Pair this with public scheduled recognition. Names read on Fridays for verified delivery, not heroic effort. Bonuses tied to milestones, not to noise. The rhythm is parenting. The room acquires memory because the calendar does. This is how respect becomes predictable outcomes instead of storms of mood. You announce office hours and actually keep them. You move decisions from hallways to posted forums. You stop negotiating with interruptions and start collecting from the rule. An engineer who knows late means next cycle is suddenly on time. A vendor who understands no invoice, no meeting stops pushing your boundaries. A teammate who sees praise distributed on schedule learns that showing progress matters more than taking air. Here is the toolkit you will use. 5 moves that convert presence into immediate authority. The Yardstick: publish agenda, clock, and decision criteria in advance, so the vote lands without drama. The gate: limit access to set windows and templates, so ambushes die at the door. The ledger: automates small certain costs and fair rewards, so the building learns the beat. The circle: pre-brief allies and count votes before the room, so you never fight blind. The exit: pre-arrange off ramps and replacements, so walking away is cheaper than chaos. Each move is quiet. Each move is visible. Each move takes the burden off your voice and puts it onto the architecture. Picture tomorrow. You step into a meeting where a charismatic colleague prepares to perform. The agenda is already pinned, the timer already running, the criteria already signed. Performance can entertain, but it cannot displace the yardstick. Later, a pushy client demands exceptions by email wall of text. Your gate replies, use the request form. Submissions after Tuesday roll to next week. No anger, no long defense, just the rule. By Friday you read names and ship work. Respect rises because the building can predict you and therefore trust you. Understand the ethic. Firm process protects human dignity. Public applause lifts morale. Private correction preserves faces. Mercy follows repair. Leniency follows a ledger. This is not about being feared as a tyrant. It is about building a city that runs on time and therefore can be kind. Once your structure is real, your tone can be warm without being weak. You will be accused of coldness until results arrive, and then you will be asked how you made it look easy. Post the yardstick. Start the clock. Close the vote. Let the structure say what you no longer need to. Visible rules, visible results. Men, in general, judge more by the eyes than by the hands, for everyone can see but few can feel. You want niceness to buy safety. You want transparency to build trust. You want effort to equal entitlement. These are soft charms in a hard game. Respect is not given to feelings. It is given to form. If you want peace that holds, separate kindness from capitulation, turn clarity into a schedule instead of a spill, and move credit from emotion to evidence. Start with niceness without teeth. Appeasement invites testing. The first time you bend, you teach a price list. 1 smile equals 1 interruption. 2 smiles equal a deadline moved. A public compliment equals a waiver of fees. Demands bid up because you keep paying. A vendor misses, sends a beautiful apology, and you forgive to keep momentum. The second miss arrives wrapped in gratitude and a request for just a little more time. A colleague pushes scope to delight the user, and you swallow the cost to protect harmony. You have not purchased loyalty. You have advertised cheap access. Use modern scenes. A manager understands every late handoff. The calendar drowns. Another manager enforces a freeze window and a rollback script. Releases stabilize and tempers cool. A partner praises your flexibility. You convert the praise into an amendment with staged deliverables and a clawback. They sign or reveal their appetite. People call you rigid, perhaps, but they also stop wasting your future. Separate kindness from capitulation with posted standards and automatic consequence. Put a toll booth on every breach. If scope enters, scope exits, or price rises, the date does not move for feelings. If a meeting starts at 9, the door closes at 9. If a miss occurs, credits post that afternoon. Your tone can be warm while your rules are expensive to ignore. Replace apology theater with math. Burn per day, penalty per miss. Recovery plan with milestones. Those who mean well adapt. Those who seek softness migrate. Next, transparency without architecture. Oversharing at the wrong time creates panic, not trust. Truth is a blade that needs a handle, agenda, clock, criteria. Without them, you vent and call it honesty. The room absorbs your fear and multiplies it. You announce a budget hole at all hands before you have levers installed. Vendors harden terms. Recruiters circle. Rumor becomes policy by noon. You publish raw metrics without thresholds or plans. Slack floods with anxiety, and your day becomes therapy instead of repair. Make clarity a schedule, not a spill. Sequence disclosure so institutions can absorb it. First, brief the few who must act and secure the levers. Spend freezes, scope reductions, relocation. Second, pin the decision rhythm. Review on Wednesday, decisions Thursday, execution Friday. Third, inform the many with facts tethered to steps, deadlines, and success criteria. Name what is reversible and what is not. Name when the window closes. A hard calendar is a warm blanket. It turns fear into tasks. The rule is simple. If your news does not tell someone what to do by a certain date, it is not clarity, it is noise. In product, you do not share every bug live. You publish a status page, a ticket queue, and an ETA. In politics, you do not stream negotiations. You publish the agenda, the quorum, and the vote time. In love, you do not text a page at midnight. You ask for a 10-minute call tomorrow with a specific request. You do not hide, you stage. Staging is not deception. It is respect for the minds you govern. Shift credit from emotion to evidence. Define done in public before you begin. Publish the checkpoint ladder, spec approved, design frozen, tests passed, ship by this hour, rollback ready, tie praise and pay to verified states. Not heroic narratives. Spotlight the small, dull victories that move the whole. The checklists that prevent fire, the handoffs that arrive on time, the defects caught before daylight. Train the room that the bell is sacred. By the bell we count, by the bell we celebrate, by the bell we correct. Now, effort isn't delivered. We tried as whether milestones are stone. The market does not pay for your exhaustion. It pays for outcomes. You can work late, bleed goodwill, and post 6 paragraphs about how hard it was. The user asks, is it live? The board asks, did it ship? A rival who worked less but locked the runbook looks ruthless and right. You feel unseen because you were loud about pain and quiet about proof. Practical moves matter here. Replace almost with a log of states past. Replace working on it with stage 2 complete, stage 3 in progress. Risk X mitigated. Replace "we care so much" with "metric moved by 7%, on track for 10 by Friday." In performance reviews, delete paragraphs about attitude and insert tables of delivery. In vendor management, ignore adjectives and negotiate around service levels, credits, and exit ramps. In relationships, lower the poetry and raise the plan, weekly time, budget agreed, chores defined, check-in cadence. Love the people, trust the calendar. All three myths share one wound. You want to be seen as good more than you want to be known as reliable. Niceness tries to buy safety. Transparency tries to buy absolution. Effort tries to buy entitlement. None pays. Respect flows to leaders who attach feeling to form, compassion to clocks, and praise to proof. In rooms where the rules hold, people relax. They stop testing because the grade is known beforehand. They plan their days, not their speeches. Expect resistance. Those who feed on your soft eyes will call your new edges cold. Those who feed on your live diary will call your staging secretive. Those who lived on effort stories will call your milestones inhuman. Do not dual adjectives. Point to the bell, the ledger, and the ship. Say less, enforce more. Public calm, private steel. Build your posture. Keep the open face and back it with posted standards. Keep the honest voice and back it with a timed agenda. Keep the tireless work ethic and back it with small, measurable states that click forward like gears. You do not become cruel. You become costly to waste. You do not become silent. You become scheduled. You do not become mechanical. You build mechanisms so your humanity can survive the week. People judge by the eyes, yes, but they live by the hands that turn the world. Let them see warmth. Make them feel form. They will learn fast which doors open and which do not, which dates move and which bite, which stories entertain and which pay. Then your days will grow quiet, not empty. Productive, not stiff. Stable. That is the respect you wanted. It comes from rules, not vibes. Warm voice, fixed clock, counted proof. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. You keep trying to be loved into authority. You soften your edges, let rules bend in warm rooms, and call it modern leadership. But the court studies your hinges, not your speeches. 3 wounds sabotage your power: approval, hunger, conflict, avoidance, and savior vanity. The clever do not need to defeat you. They only need to feed those wounds and watch you trade away standards, time, and order. Your cure is not cruelty. Your cure is protocol that refuses to kneel. Approval, hunger first. You enter a meeting with criteria and a clock. Praise lands, we love your openness, and a late edge case appears. To look fair, you adjust scoring midstream. A client feels unheard, and you extend a discount past the contract. A team asks to feel supported, and you slide the deadline to keep the room bright. You think you are building trust. The city learns a cheaper lesson. Flatter early, press late, collect in the middle. Standards become weather. Deadlines become moods. Your rulings dissolve in your wish to be liked. Install 2 hard rails, no mid-meeting rule changes, and 1-sentence rulings. The first rail locks criteria, thresholds, and decision rights. The moment the agenda starts, new inputs get logged for the next cycle. You are not silencing voices, you are protecting coherence, so everyone knows the floor beneath them. The second rail forces clarity under pressure. When the decision lands, stated in a single line, a tired human can apply. We ship Friday with current scope. Discounts closed last night. Change orders start today. Offer goes out at noon. Others receive closure today. Long paragraphs invite renegotiation. Short sentences anchor memory. Police your mouth for cushions that sell the treasury. Just maybe, I totally understand. I'm not saying no. Cut the padding and keep the spine. Publish rules in calm weather. Freeze windows 72 hours before any launch. Deposits before work. Automatic late fees at the first missed clock. Then automate enforcement so your courage does not have to clock in. Invoices send themselves. Access suspends at the second miss. Grace has an expiry. If someone calls clarity cold, point to the page you posted last week. Kindness without form is theater. Form with kindness is government. Replace drift with timed debates and recorded votes. Time box discussion means 2 exploration sessions, and one decision session, no wandering circles. Put a visible clock on the wall. When time expires, the chair calls the question. If critical facts are missing, document the gap and set a deadline to retrieve it. Otherwise, decide. Then record the vote where memory cannot argue. Roll call counts result, and a one-line rationale posted within 24 hours. Dissent is permitted. Drift is not in this house. No is a clock, not a mood. Now conflict avoidance, endless argument that protects your mood and taxes your people. You call it inclusion when you dread the sting of no. Meetings multiply. You keep dialogue open so nobody can accuse you of being rigid. Rumor begins writing policy while the chair rehearses fairness. That is how small disputes rot into public crises. Uncut threads wrap the organization, and you end up performing authority with a louder voice instead of a stronger frame. Carry boundary scripts so courage does not depend on adrenaline. Write them short and practice them slow. No changes inside freeze. That is out of scope. Log it for the next cycle. We are at time. We are voting now. Pair refusal with path. No to features this sprint. Yes to a change order Monday. No to after-hours support. Yes to a premium plan. Courtesy remains, but it rides on rails. The organization learns how to disagree without breaking the calendar. Examples make the arithmetic plain. A product-led avoids saying no to a senior's last-minute idea. The launch slides a week, morale slides a month. With a visible clock and the script, inside freeze, we log for the next cycle. The date would have held. A director keeps debate open around a corrosive star to hear all voices. 3 steady performers resign in silence. With time-boxed sessions and a recorded vote, the dull, enforceable decision, the best kind, would have arrived on schedule. Now save your vanity, the need to rescue that flatters your ego and wrecks your order. You waive deposits for a charming client. This once, you rewrite a failing proposal because only you can land the tone. You pull weekends to fix a team that ignored the gate. The corridor loves your cape. The city loses its bones. Drama begins to earn more reward than discipline. Your attention becomes cheaper than preparation, and repeat offenders learn to arrive with theater. Replace heroics with cues and deposits that convert intention into collateral. Work enters by ticket, not by shout. Priority follows criteria, not charisma. On-call rotates. Deposits fund the plan before the plan consumes your calendar. If you must grant leniency, make it documentation, not performance. What was waived, why, by whom, and when it expires. Reviewed weekly with cold eyes and an open ledger. Praise the person who ran the playbook, not the person who flattered you into breaking it. If the bridge collapses when you rest, it wasn't a system, it was your ego. Tie mercy to restitution, training, and probation. Restitution first. Anyone who harms the group repairs the harm at their cost. Refunds, rework, time back. Mercy without repair is subsidy. Subsidy breeds parasites. Then training, a concrete plan with dates, competencies, and a coach who is not you. Skills gaps shrink under practice. Character gaps reveal themselves when practice fails. Then probation, short intervals. Explicit metrics, automatic consequence. 2 missed SLAs this month trigger reassignment. Second, confidentiality breach suspends access for a quarter. Announce this latter in fair weather, run it when storms arrive. Observe the parasite test. Healthy partners accept the latter, restitution, training, probation, and move. Parasites praise your generosity and fight the steps. Smile, point to the protocol. Decline the role of savior and choose the role of steward. A city does not need your fire, it needs your calendar. Tie the rails together. Approval hunger derails standards. One-sentence rulings and no mid-meeting changes keep the form immune to mood. Conflict avoidance turns hours into debt. Time debates and recorded votes make no measurable and legitimate. Savior vanity destroys order. Restitution first, mercy, training, and probation. Protect the group from your heroics. None of this demands a hard heart. It demands a governed hand. Your shadow will still bargain. It will promise love if you bend rules, harmony if you delay refusal, loyalty if you bleed for offenders, decline. Write the standards when the sky is blue, run them when thunder starts. Let applause come late if it comes at all. Power is not the roar you make, it is the schedule that does not kneel. Form before favor, clocks before comfort, mercy after repair. You traded substance for noise the moment you tried to win respect with explanations. At first it was small. A decision slides from the room to the hallway, then from the hallway to the parking lot, then into someone else's calendar without your name on it. You tell yourself it's efficient. You add context to save face. You apologize for being unclear. The apology becomes permission. Scope creeps as if it were a polite breeze. Another tiny tweak, an extra quick favor, a deadline that moves because someone smiled while asking. Your sentences get longer. Your authority gets thinner. The manipulator takes notes. You'll surrender ground to avoid discomfort, and your words will carry the boxes they pile. They test you in a meeting you thought you owned. The agenda evaporates into just one point. A colleague, practiced at charm, reframes your plan as a draft they are concerned about. You begin to soothe. You narrate every consideration. You over-explain until time explodes. The room learns a fast law. Pressure you and you perform. They learn a second. Performance eats the clock. Eating the clock eats the decision. You become the show that replaces the vote. From hurt to hardware, replace speeches with machines. Then the outburst. A series of hallway deals culminates in a public reveal that moves the project without you. The manipulator smiles with innocent eyebrows and says, "We thought you'd agree." Your stomach drops through concrete. You feel the heat climb your jaw. You slam a file, raise your voice, and list receipts like a stricken accountant. The clip trims your reason and keeps your rage. By afternoon, the wrong person is the hero. They look calm, you look dangerous, and the crowd awards them the crown you built. Feel the price of improvisation. You tried to purchase dignity with feeling. You sold it to speed. A city runs on rules, or it runs on moods. If it runs on moods, the most theatrical will rule it. Stop feeding theater. Create a whitelist of speakers for each segment based on role, not status. Experts brief.
Stakeholders question.
Observers listen. Whitelisting is not elitism. It is alignment. It says, we call on knowledge in order, not on volume, by surprise. Use a turn cue that projects to the wall, A, B, C, then D in the process. Repeat the order aloud every cycle. People relax when sequence replaces guesswork. Begin with agendas that act like walls. Every meeting carries a one-page order of business, purpose, desired outcome, owners, timers. It arrives the day before. It locks at a set hour. If someone wants a new item, they submit it for the next docket or swap equal weight with signatures. The lock is mercy for everyone's nerves. It is also armor for your authority. Put timers in the room where eyes can see them. 2 minutes for statements, 90 seconds for replies, 30 seconds for procedural checks. When the clock goes red, the microphone cuts. Not a debate, a feature. Debate lives inside limits. Limits create trust because they make the next turn inevitable. Grandstanders hate inevitability. Keep a violation log like a flight recorder. Overtime, off-topic, personal jab, timestamp, code, speaker. 3 minor violations cost speaking time next session. 5 cost the segment. 7 trigger temporary removal. Publish anonymized weekly stats. Violations down 40%. Decisions up 60%. The manipulator thrives on ambiguity. Numbers strangle ambiguity. Install an escalation ladder that everyone rehearses. Green is normal, amber is disruption, red is disorder. Green runs on timers and queue. Amber triggers a procedural reminder and loss of time. Red suspends the item, turns cameras off, and moves to a closed room where the code is read and the sanction applied. The ladder is written, posted, and immune to flattery. You do not invent punishments at midnight. You run the play at noon. Record decisions in a docket that travels. What was decided by whom, with which evidence, and by what vote, linked to the agenda, the deck, the summary. When a hallway tries to steal a vote, you hold the docket up to the light. Paper beats charm. Tie scope to gates. Freeze changes 48 hours before a build. After freeze, every tiny tweak either slips the calendar or swaps equal scope with approvals visible on the page. The gate is memory installed as steel. It keeps your generosity from becoming policy because someone was persuasive at 11:57. Adopt 2 sanctions that are small and certain. First, the late fee, miss a handoff and you forfeit priority on your next request. Second, the access tier, break the pipe, lose edit rights for a cycle, save severity for fraud. Predictable nicks, correct faster than rare public guillotines. Now roll over ego. Write your job in one line you can obey on tired days. I protect time and structure so decisions land on schedule. Your worth is not how convincingly you plead. Your worth is how reliably you run the machine. The manipulator wins when you treat leadership like a stage. They starve when you treat it like a ledger. Change the sentences that betray you. Retire. Let me explain. Say, agenda item 3, 2 minutes each. Retire, I'm not being heard. Say, queue order is A, B, C, we'll hear all in turn. Retire, please don't do this again. Say, violation B2, logged loss of time next session. Each replacement moves identity behind rules where weather cannot spoil it. When the media or a faction begs for a show, do you condemn X? Answer with a calendar and code. We'll address the process at 14 o'clock. Findings will be written. Sanctions follow the scale. You will be called scripted. Good. Scripts are why pilots land in fog. Scripts are how surgeons close. Rehearse calm. The protocol is your spine when your jaw buzzes. If bait appears, you name the rule, not the offender. If volume rises, you call the question, not the duel. If you breach, if a word spikes from your mouth like a spark, invoke the recess you published. 7 minutes, no interviews with the air. Return to the chair as if the room were larger than your mood, because it is. Expect the old ache to visit. You will want to over-explain to prove fairness. You will want to snap to prove strength. Both are theater. Strength is the tap of a gavel at the exact second promised, the permission that ends precisely when the red light appears, the docket posted before lunch with names spelled right. Fairness is the rule that cuts your favorite when they cross it, same as your rival. This is not colder. It is cleaner. Modern examples confirm the math. A board that installed timers cut meetings by half and doubled shipped votes. A product team that locked agendas ended scope creep in 2 sprints. A campaign that whitelisted speakers turned performative outrage into briefings that won the day while the feed searched for fresh chaos elsewhere. The manipulator migrated to rooms where the chair begged for respect. Your room stopped begging and became a schedule. After a quarter of discipline, the air changes. People show with notes instead of knives. Your staff speak inside time and leave with decisions they can execute. The hallway shrinks to a walkway that returns to the room. The manipulator tries one last flourish. The roomer wrapped his urgency and sees a sign that says, add to the next docket or swap equal weight. They sigh. They sit. Your rules more them more effectively than your speeches ever did. Agenda, timer, cue, code, form first. Then respect. When the next test arrives, and it will, you will feel the heat climb your throat. Your eyes will find the clock. Your voice will be short and even. Temor expired. Next speaker, the room will move like a river with banks. You will leave with work, not applause. Your name will be a time, not a scene. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Respect is proximity to certainty. People drift toward the place where clocks keep time, rules survive weather, and outcomes match promises. You do not earn respect by volume or charm. You earn it by building an environment that does not lie. The ethical frame is simple: gentle tone, iron enforcement. Start with terms over vibes. Translate goodwill into legible standards, scope, timeline, exit. So fairness is visible and defensible. Scope is the map, what you do, what you refuse, and who may change the route. Timeline is the drum that ends arguments. Cutoffs, review windows, and a last safe moment to change scope. The exit is the emergency ramp. How we part, who hands over what, how the money settles and the data returns. When the rules are written, quarrels shrink because hands can point to a page instead of to your mood. Picture a launch that once ran on adrenaline. You publish 1 page, design delivers assets Tuesday noon, engineering closes 2 priority tickets per sprint, legal signs Wednesday at 5, go live Friday at 1800. If uptime, error rate, and checkout flow, stay green. If any dial reddens, the release slides exactly 1 sprint, automatic without debate. Your name stops meaning favorite and starts meaning predictable. Teams breathe because the same fence meets every hand. Bring the same clarity into small rooms. A friend asks for support on a fundraiser. You answer with scope and clock. I can secure 2 sponsors, review copy once, MC for 30 minutes. If the deck isn't ready by the 10th, I reassign the slot. They feel respected because the fence is real. You feel calm because risk has a rail. The tone stays warm. Terms carry the weight. Next, practice mercy with memory. Forgiveness only after restitution and monitored improvement. Compassion without repayment trains repeat harm. Cruelty without a path back breeds sabotage. You write the ladder before the fall and climb it afterward. Price the damage, repair it visibly, narrow the lane, then widen only if the numbers stay green. Mercy is unlocked by receipts. Memory keeps the city from forgetting its lessons. A vendor misses a deadline and your team burns a weekend. The apology arrives, perfumed with weather. You remain balanced and apply the rule already signed. Refund the rush fee, fund support overtime, deliver an extra batch next sprint, and move to earlier internal gates for a month. After receipts, you forgive and log probation terms, smaller units, shorter review windows, mandatory peer checks. If performance stabilizes, privileges return. If it wobbles, the exit clause fires cleanly. No theater, no grudges, just arithmetic and a calendar. Extend the ethic to reputational harm. A senior ally posts a clever half-truth that dents your credibility. Your policy is public. Correction in the same channel within 24 hours. PIN for 72. A fact sheet to partners. Budget for outreach to those misled. Quarterly review of that person's approvals. When the list is complete, you forgive. If it repeats, access narrows and then closes. Mercy remains available. Memory sets the price of re-entry higher after each cut. Calibrate by weight and history. A newcomer who stumbles once deserves guardrails and a second try. A veteran who plays the yardstick deserves fewer privileges and closer eyes. Everyone meets the same ruler, only the ceiling changes because heights differ. That is equity with teeth, and decent people trust it because it does not blink for charm. Finally, keep public calm and private steel. Praise on schedule, correct and quiet, every time. Public calm signals safety. Decent people can work without flinching at sirens. Private steel protects dignity while proving the law is real even for favorites. You do not brandish the knife, you carry it, and results reveal its edge. In the all hands, you name the behavior that scales. The ops lead, who met the service level for 3 straight months and published a 1-page checklist, others adopted. You speak in specifics. Handoff clarity, early risk flags, documented decisions, so the room hears a recipe, not a hymn. Then the door closes. You meet the rainmaker who bullied a shortcut through a checkpoint. You bring timestamps, costs, and the clause everyone signed. Consequence lands exactly as written. Deploy rights suspended for 2 sprints. Bonus contingent on clean metrics. Mandatory peer review. No shouting, no spectacle. The standard is loud because the steel is quiet. Institutionalize the memory. Log every reward and every correction with the rule it maps to. The book is your successor when you are tired or gone. Make the calendar part of your calm gates. Announced early, closed on the dot, reopened when promised. When you miss, pay your own fine in daylight, credits, upgrades, or your weekend. Leaders who find themselves make the code heavier than any anthem. The street learns that with you, time is not costume, it is infrastructure. Carry this posture into daily life. A friend texts at midnight, call me now. Your standard answers at 9, glad to talk. 9 a.m. works. They either respect the sun or they learn they cannot move it. A date strings you along with maybe. Your exit clause is gentle and firm. I'll open the slot back to the week. If you want it, send me a message. Civility with teeth, warmth without wobble. Understand the frame. Respect is proximity to certainty. Clear terms, known clocks, fair teeth, gentle voice, iron enforcement. People will call it cold until their plans survive your winter. Then they will call it safe. Under such weather, affection returns as gratitude instead of ransom, and loyalty grows like traffic on a reliable road, quiet, steady, profitable to travel. Speak softly, write the law, make the cut on time. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. Let them look and see order. You do not chase respect, you construct it. Rooms, chats, and negotiations bend not to charisma, but to cadence. You build 5 moves: yardstick, gate, ledger, circle, exit, and you back them with short scripts and quiet artifacts. Form crowns decisions, noise falls off the steps. Start with the yardstick, agenda, clock, criteria. Publish it before the meeting, so surprise dies at the door. 1 page. The goal: 3 realistic options, evidence required. The criteria that will decide, the sequence of voices, and a hard stop in bold: evidence first, commentary last. Numbers before narratives, risks before speeches. A timer sits where all can see. When it turns red, motion begins. People relax because the game is defined. A critic tries to wander into stories about feelings and reputation. You lift the yardstick. We begin with evidence. The room returns to the score, and decisions regain their spine. Next, the gate. Access windows that make compliance easy and ambushes impossible. You post office hours, request templates, and freeze windows. Questions arrive through a simple form that asks for context, desired outcome, deadline, and supporting files. If a request misses the window, it rolls to the next cycle without shame or argument. Drive-by asks vanish because shape is required. The gate is courteous because it is predictable. It is ruthless because it is closed when it says it is. Deep work and clean sprints survive because you remove the alley where panic writes policy. Then the ledger. Small, certain costs and near rewards that teach faster than speeches. You automate queue resets for late handoffs, modest late fees for missed commitments, access downgrades after repeated slips, and bonuses for early clean delivery. Proximity matters. The closer the consequence is to the behavior, the stronger the lesson. 3 on-time sprints earn first pick on limited integration slots. A stumble slides 1 release and funds rework hours. No vendetta, no theater. The machine clicks. The culture learns that the shortest road to comfort is discipline. The circle is your quiet geometry of power. Your allies and whip count. You pre-brief swing actors before any confrontation. Each receives the same 1-pager. The decision, the options, the near gain for alignment, and the price of delay in cash, face, and leverage. You confirm numbers before the room opens. Who moves, who seconds, who nods when the clock turns red. You never enter a vote you have not already won. In practice, this is 3 calls, a shared note, and a morning message that reads, "As agreed." The bully finds a room already tilted by preparation, and courage suddenly looks like arithmetic. Finally, the exit, walk-away power that makes leaving cheaper than chaos. You pre-negotiate off-ramps with handover kits, escrow, access roll-down, and replacements ready. A departure becomes a corridor, not an explosion. The kit lists assets, owners, credentials, deadlines, and the public line that will be used. Escrow ties funds and deliverables to milestones. Locks prevent sabotage disguised as transition pain. When someone threatens to burn the room, you open the door you already built, and the fire goes out in the hallway air. Understand what the moves do to your shadow. The shadow loves spectacle, the sharp reply, the hallway decision, the improvised mercy for favorites, the public scolding that feels like justice. You retrain it with cadence. The yardstick kills speeches that try to outshout facts. The gate denies ambush, the breeding ground of panic. The ledger ends pleading. The circle spares you the lonely duel. The exit keeps you from clinging to people who trade on threats. Confidence stops being heat and becomes structured. Your pulse stays slow because the rails are firm. Watch a single day. Morning, a project review. The yardstick is visible. Metrics first. Timer running, criteria pinned above the screen. A late slide arrives at 10:17. Window closed, next cycle, and the room exhales. The circle speaks on cue. The motion passes at 10:29 and assignments land under names. Afternoon chat erupts with urgent questions. The gate answers with the template. 2 requests qualify and enter the queue. 3 drift to next week without resentment. Evening. A rumor pops up online. The record, agenda, and minutes travels farther than the whisper. The matter ends where the paper says it ends. You cement these moves with scripts and artifacts that lower the cost of enforcement. Short lines carry steel without heat. Will proceed as posted. Not in this forum, next cycle. Please put that in writing. Window closed. The gate reopens Tuesday. After restitution, we can revisit. I don't decide in the hallways. Per the checklist, we're at motion. Artifacts keep memory honest. An agenda template that puts evidence first. A decision scorecard with criteria and weights. A request form that forces context, files, and dates. An incident note that records facts, standards, evidence, and response. A handover checklist. An access roll-down schedule. Paper is quiet armor that stops the second war. Apply it to a negotiation. Before the call, you publish the Yardstick agenda, clock, acceptance criteria. You open with evidence, unit economics, delivery record, risk plan. A counterparty pushes a last-minute clause. The gate is closed. We'll revisit the next cycle. They reach for passion. You return to the scorecard and read the criteria aloud. Numbers align. You move to motion. If they threaten to walk, you show the exit, hand over dates, escrow milestones, replacement path already prepared. Leaving is cheaper than chaos. Most choose order. If they do not, you still win because your corridor keeps your name exact. Carry it into personal life. Your phone obeys the gate after 10, messages queue for morning. Invitations carry the yardstick. Purpose, place, time, hard stop. When someone pushes past a boundary, the script appears, not in this forum. After restitution, we can revisit. A late cancel triggers the ledger, deposit retained, rebooking requires prepay. You write a tiny incident note for yourself, so next week's self does not negotiate with amnesia. On again, off again returns. You open the exit you wrote on a clear day, handover of keys, refund minus costs, a brief, accurate line, and access rolled down on schedule. None of this is cruelty. It is mercy arranged in advance. Form frees kindness, because the system carries the weight. People know what wins, when it wins, and how loss is restored. Bullies lose oxygen. The careful gain speed. Your rooms grow quiet and productive because the clock is visible, the paper is signed, the allies are counted, the ledger is public, and the door is real. Respect arrives not as awe, but as relief. They can finally see how to work with you without guessing your weather. Publish the form, hold the clock, let the receipts rule. Respect is built like walls, measured, aligned, and inspected. You do not beg for it. You design it. When respect is engineered, anxiety drops and work compounds. You draw clear lines, you keep honest clocks, you enforce consequences without theatrics, and the weather of the room changes. People breathe, the desperate pitch quiets, the useful task rises. Order makes kindness safe. It makes ambition sustainable because it removes the tax of guessing. You are not chasing, you are choosing. That is how gravity forms around you. Second chances must stick, or they are subsidies for harm. You forgive under new terms and monitored milestones. The analyst who missed a critical handoff moves to a smaller surface, paired with a mentor reviewed at 30, 60, and 90 days. The vendor who slips signs revised conditions, checkpoint calls, audits at each gate, payment on completion. The manager who burned the budget regains authority in stages after restitution and proof of restraint. No humiliation, no favoritism, no amnesia. Compassion keeps a spine because records keep a memory. You publish the staircase back in plain words. Acknowledge harm, repair damage, demonstrate skill under time pressure, pass probation on the clock. Restore privileges in phases, apply it to friends and strangers the same way. The door stays open, the wolves stay out. Begin with the quiet city. Fewer flare-ups are not luck. They are the product of procedures that survive Mondays. Meetings move faster because the chair is the clock, not the loudest mouth. The agenda comes in numbered lines. The decision leaves in one paragraph. Owners are named, deadlines are dated. Follow-ups are automatic. You refuse rumors as a method. A nurse starts a shift with the right supplies because inventory is counted at close, not hoped for at dawn. A permit progresses through visible steps. So a shop opens when promised instead of when someone finally answers a call. The builder pours concrete on the day agreed. The road does not reopen to excuses. Credit is kept clean. The team that shipped is the team named in the memo and on the bonus line. People stop rehearsing speeches and start rehearsing delivery. Victory becomes continuity, days that behave, weeks that add up, quarters that show their math. Keep the signal and remove the theater. 5 minutes of measurement beats 30 of mood. Publish response times, defect thresholds, and the simple counts that tell the truth. Reward routine excellence louder than heroic rescue. Rescues are interest paid on ignored procedure. When a deputy sells a glamorous pivot, you ask for a pilot, an exit ramp, and a budget that survives bad weather. When critics bait you into spectacle, you answer with a date, a deliverable, and disciplined silence until delivery. Respect follows the bell, not the boast. This is how dignity grows without debt. Because your boundary remembers, your voice can soften. You can say, "Welcome back," without gambling the treasury. People bring problems earlier because they trust you to measure before you move. A culture forms where correction is quiet, praise is public, and the future is legible. Anxiety drains because tomorrow has a template. Talent stays because credit travels with the work. Risk becomes safer because it is sized, piloted, and retired when the numbers say so. Ambition becomes sustainable because exhaustion is no longer a badge of honor. Then the legacy arrives. Your name turns into shorthand for it gets done, clean, and on time. Partners choose your lane because the toll is clear and the road keeps its promises. Families rest because evenings are uneventful. Engineers schedule deep work because incidents are rare and honestly named. Schools keep calendars, clinics open at dawn and stay open, budgets close without theater, tests stop because the grade is known beforehand, standards published, timelines met, transfers executed without panic. Respect becomes durable. It outlives the volume of those who tried to shout their way into command. Guard the inputs to guard the peace. Write short rules and enforce every line. Budget with buffers and say no before the deficit says it for you. Reward in daylight, correct in private, restore by proof. Refuse the flattering exception, just this once. Precedent breeds predators. When storms gather, still the rumor, mask the root, finish on time. When the sky clears, publish the minutes and the math. This is not coldness. It is careful strength that pays for the next good day. Keep firm so kindness can flow.